Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to begin by expressing my deep gratitude for the outstanding service of General Brown and so many other dedicated military leaders who were unjustly dismissed as part of a politically motivated purge of senior Department of Defense officials. General Caine, I really enjoyed our conversations we've had recently over the last couple of weeks. If you are confirmed as chairman of the Joint Chiefs, you will serve as the President's principal military advisor and be expected to bring your military judgment to bear to advise against illegal, immoral, and advisable courses of action, regardless of partisan pressure. However, we are in a moment where that very principle is under strain, such as with the dismissal of Judge Advocates General responsible for providing critical legal expertise because their counsel did not align with the political preferences of Secretary Hegseth. This pattern has had a chilling effect on the open, honest discourse essential to national security decision-making at the highest level. Now, the lives of our service members and future of our national security depend on expert, qualified leaders who understand that their decisions have real life or death consequences. How will you insulate and empower general officers across the force to remain professional and importantly, nonpartisan, and provide unbiased advice to civilian policymakers without fear of coercion, undue partisanship, or retaliation?
Well, Senator, I thank you. I also enjoyed our time together. This is the whole job. This is why you and I both took our oath of office. It's what is contained in our commission and aligned with the Constitution. And so that is what the nation expects out of our professional officer corps, and I'm sure what we'll continue to do moving forward in history.
And will you do your best to ensure that the general officer corps, those who give that advice, remain unbiased and nonpartisan?
Always.
Well, maybe bias on the side of the service members and national security.
Yes, ma'am. But, yes.
Thank you. And it's great to see a guard guy at that table being going through the confirmation hearing. So
thank you, ma'am.
You will also be the senior most uniform officer entrusted with being a model and a leader for the joint force. Recently, we've witnessed troubling signs of blurred lines between private power and public trust, a striking lack of regard for protecting vital national security secrets, and the absence of accountability for top leadership, from Elon Musk receiving invitations for briefings on China, to a pattern of mishandling classified information, to Secretary Hegseth bringing family members into sensitive meetings with allies and partners. And very concerningly, we have also seen a concerted effort to skirt transparency to the American people on the use of force, with decision-making being done over disappearing Signal chat. It seems like this administration is more interested in keeping secrets from the American people than protecting national security secrets for the American people. You have experience running some of our most sensitive operations, so you know that even the need for secrecy to enable mission success does not mean skirting accountability to the American people. Do you commit to providing the legally required transparency to Congress and the American people over decisions related to the use of force, even in the face of pressure from civilian leadership?
I do, Senator.
Thank you. Another concerning focus of this administration has been to distract the military from its core mission of protecting the American people from external threats by redirecting military personnel, assets, and platforms to domestic law enforcement missions. President Trump may have learned from his first term that asking one of your predecessors to deploy the military to fire on civilian protesters was a no-go. So instead, he has turned to form insidious tactics, linking criminal activities or undesired political speech to hostile governments like Venezuela or terrorist groups like Hamas in order to legitimize military involvement. In fact, this kind of threat inflation is exactly what dictators do. The separation between military missions and civilian law enforcement is a core tenet of our democracy and exists not only to protect the rights of American citizens, but also to preserve the integrity of our armed forces. When military personnel are thrust into law enforcement missions, it places them at risk of moral injury, of being asked to enforce partisan concerns rather than to defend the nation. It compromises not just their mission, but their conscience. What steps will you take to ensure that U.S. military personnel or assets are not inappropriately used in law enforcement capacities that distract the military from its core mission, undermine readiness, and threaten public trust?
Well, Senator, thank you for that question. I think there's, strong systems in place, legal systems in place that prevent any missteps there. It ranges from Title 32 authorities to Title 10 authorities. And have no reason to believe at this point that those are insufficient in any way.
Thank you. I enjoy working with you, General.
Thank you, Senator.
Mr. Chairman.